In this video, I'm going to show you how to manage your users and add or invite new users. From the home screen, you can choose the admin option, or from the main menu, choose admin at the bottom there. You'll see on the main admin, you'll see icons here at the top, choose users, and then you'll see by default your active user list. If you'd like to see your inactive users, simply toggle the switch here. Active users are users that can log into the system, and they will be charged in any of your accounts. So these count as licensed users. Any user that is not active does not actually count. So you can add more users into your system to assign them to tasks. If they're not going to log in at all, then you won't be charged for those kinds of users. So the first thing you're going to see here that you'll use most often is the active inactive. To deactivate a user, just simply choose not active or choose active to click it. Now it's not active. To make a user active, choose active. Also, you can choose their roles by editing their roles here. Roles can be edited very quickly from this option right here. And note that these roles that you see you may have fewer roles in your workspace based on the add-ons that you install. So the roles that are available are dynamic based on the different features you have turned on. To add a new user, you can simply choose invite and add new users. These will add a basic user who is a resource, and they will be active, and they will get an invitation to log in. These users can be added as resources on projects, and it's a quick way to add a bunch of users. To add a user in a more granular way or a more detailed way, you can choose the Add Plus User button. The only required fields are the first and last name, but you're going to want to add the email address and username for anyone who's going to log in, as well as other attributes like what department they're in, what company they're for, who their manager is, maybe if they have an address and some phone numbers. Down here is the active inactive box. To make a user not active, you uncheck it. And a non-active user can't log in, but you can create a user or a resource that you can add as designate them as a task owner on tasks and projects. So this is a critical feature that you should know. The next tab over are their roles. And this is really only matters for active users, and whether they're a system admin, you simply check the box. Power user roles, like whether they're a project a PMO manager or someone who manages all the projects, whether they can create a project, a company manager. There's a separate video on all of these roles on this screen that describe what each role is. Again, what's grayed out, it depends on the add-ons you have turned on and off. And if you want to do approval templates, then you need to have the approval templates add-on, for example. So these are definitely these roles are depending on what add-ons you have. One critical box here is check this box for project resource. This allows someone to be added as a resource on projects. In some cases, you may want to have users in the system that aren't ever on a project. You would uncheck that box. And then this box here, whether it lets them create reports or not. Everyone can create reports, but they generally can only see things that they have permissions to based on their roles. The next tab is the preferences. Users can normally set this on their own, but as an admin, you may or may not need to set this for someone. They can anybody can edit their preferences on their own by choosing the icon here and choosing preferences. The next tab is really important. This is the resource info. And on the resource info, you'll see different fields like the burden rate and bill rate if you're doing time entry, what their capacity defaults might be, what resource type they have, like their roles on projects, whether they're a project sponsor, whether they enter time entries, or whether they have to actually submit a timesheet, and what their default code might be. This tab will have these inputs may or may not appear based on the features you have. And then the final tab that's important here are what the person's photo might be. You can choose from a library for them, or they can upload their own. You can upload a photo for them and pick their color. But again, the user can do this on their own by choosing the photo option in this menu. So generally, you don't need to do anything there for new users. A couple other important features here is you can search for a user using the search. That'll narrow your list or their roles. And then we have a more menu here where you can choose from templates. Now, templates are a great feature because you can go in and set up what roles you would like a project manager to have. And when you want to create a new user with that profile, you just choose create user from this more menu here, and it'll actually load up a blank form with the defaults that you had set in their preferences and in their resource info. It'll basically copy that template into a new user. So you can have project managers or standard user. This is really helpful for if you're managing a lot of users in your system, which many of our customers do. And we also have an advanced option which lets you search users, and you can import users and also choose your own columns and export them using this menu as well. So the advanced option is sometimes powerful. To get back to this simple view, you just simply hit simple view. So you can hit the advanced view to see more of your users as well. So this is how you generally manage your users in Project Insight. One other quick tip is you can always impersonate a user or clone them. You can also reassign tasks to users here as well, or resend their welcome email and reset their password from the More menu. You can also see more details about them as well by clicking on their name, and it'll pull up their card, their detail card.